podcast Fandom Premium. I'm your host, Nina.
I'm Donald.
And I'm Katie.
And we're back to start a brand new K-drama. Our last one, or two, we did two at the same time. We did Itaewon Class and Attorney Woo. This one is Flower of Evil, and it is darker than both of them. I was going to say it's darker than Woo, but maybe not Itaewon. No, but this is darker than Itaewon Class so far. Yeah. Which I need it. You guys know I like my shit dark.
Death.
I like death. No, I don't. I like, you know what I mean. In my drama, I do. I want to solve mysteries and all of that. So we asked in our group, and this came highly recommended. It is on Netflix. So if you want to watch and follow along, you can find it there. I'm pretty sure it's on Viki as well. If you're a subscriber to Viki for a lot of the Asian dramas and variety shows, I'm sure it's there. But we're watching on Netflix. It is 16 episodes. We just looked it up on IMDb. We're a bit confused because IMDb has it listed as 4 seasons and 35 episodes. But US Netflix only has 16 episodes, and we are assuming that that is considered either one season or the first and second season being 8 episodes apiece. Either way, we're going to cover all 16, 2 episodes at a time. So today we're going to be talking about episodes 1 and 2. And if you are a time travel subscriber, if you're subscribed to our Patreon tier for time travelers, then you also have access to us talking about episodes 3 and 4 now. Everyone else will have to wait a week. So I have 0 notes, but I don't feel like I need them.
I don't.
Yet. Right?
No,
you never have notes. Shut up.
It's not that deep of a show.
Right. It's like the main plot, which we'll set up in a second, and then it feels like it's going to be a case per episode, like a police case, but also still the underlying main plot stuff. So the premise, because I had started this just for me a few weeks ago and stopped once I realized we would podcast it, is a married couple. The wife is Ji-won and the husband is Hee-Sung. And she is a police officer, and he is a metal craftsman of some sort. He has a shop. They have a young daughter. They live above the shop. But he is not all that he seems. He has a set of very weird, quote-unquote, parents who are very cold to his wife and daughter. And he is hiding a past. He may or may not be a serial killer. He's definitely a psychopath, though. Mm-hmm. Because he doesn't know how to express emotions. Which is actually, if you think about it, it's kind of fucked up, though, that's okay. That's not the only reason we're calling him a psychopath. Yeah. Because there's other stuff. But I just remembered Woo needed that, too. Attorney Woo. She had to have photos of facial expressions that match emotions. Mm-hmm. To accurately convey, because she just didn't have the skills to do that. But he is absolutely violent and out there. So it is about this couple and the cases that she covers as a police officer and him trying to hide his true self is what I'm getting. Mm-hmm. Donnie, I'll start with you.
Yes.
What did you think of these first 2 episodes?
I liked them. I like the cases. I like the characters. Mm-hmm. I especially like the one detective, because she's not really a detective, right? She's more of a forensics. So, but there's
is she? No, she is, because she pulled out them handcuffs. And
yeah,
arrested.
but you know how CSI do too.
Yeah, that's true. Though
I like the daughters too. She's cute as fuck.
She is, poor baby.
But as far as what's going on with the father, that stuff's pretty interesting. And then his mother's a piece of shit.
Oh my God. Like, they are really driving home that these people have no empathy. Like, mm-hmm. And I thought, at first, well, maybe they're like contract killers. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, kind of like with Spy Family, where you have this really fucked up, dangerous job, but you have a front. Mm-hmm. So it's like, all three of us in this organization, we'll pretend to be your parents. You go get married, you know, like a cover. Mm-hmm. But, like, they're not trying to, like, they don't try to cover. Like, why wouldn't you pretend to, like, love your granddaughter, at least?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I felt like she did like the granddaughter. It's just she didn't like the mother.
Did you get the impression they liked the daughter?
I thought in the second episode, didn't she have the granddaughter?
No, you're racist.
That was her mom.
That's her mom. That's
okay.
the detective's mom. See, you're racist. Yeah, no. When that little girl was like, Harmony, hello,
that's right, you're right.
And she did the little thing, and they just looked, she was like, my feet hurt, let's go eat. It was terrible. What did you think, Kaylee? I want to see what you're going to say before I remind you of something you said. To make sure, I don't know if you're going to say it now, but what were your overall thoughts?
Probably not. I'm just going to say I like it because I like murder.
Okay.
I'm liking all the psychopaths. I like it.
There's a new movie or show that I just saw on Netflix with it's a Korean drama with a girl with pink hair, and just the synopsis, I was like, Kaylee's gonna love this shit.
You look it up and send it to me. I want to know.
What?
There's a new show, or it's either a show or movie that just came out on Netflix, because I saw it pop up on my thing, and I looked at it, and it's about this, I think she might be a high school or a college girl with pink hair, but at night she's an assassin. And I was like, this is like Kaylee.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, you got to go look that up. Oh, is it the violence action?
Yes.
This is Japanese.
Oh,
you are so racist.
Well, either way, she'd like that shit.
Yeah, you would. Yeah. All right, I just added it to my queue. What do you want to say? Anything else? She's looking at the new show now.
Sorry, I like that hair. Yeah, I'm really enjoying it though. Like, I'll say more as we talk more about it because I can't quite remember what exactly I wanted to say, but I am enjoying it. I was gonna say though that depending on how the rest of the show goes, this has the potential to be like a top 3 already.
Oh, really?
Just on the premise.
Yeah.
Interested.
Yeah, it does have like, it's not as funny, but it does have Coup vibes, Inspector Coup, which was another show we covered. Well, one thing you didn't say, but you might have said later, but Donnie reminded me just now, with the detective, I like the dynamic between the three of them and how you have like the younger junior detective constantly, pit between the two. They were bickering and over like who's right about stuff and who's his mentor, But you mentioned in the second episode, Kaylee, that you like that he's actually a good detective. Like, he was wrong. Like, they were both a little wrong, right? But he's a good detective because he's the one, he found the knife.
Yeah,
like, he figured out that the girl.
He seems like the kind of guy who's all talk. And because he's like loud and, he's loud, but he's like, he's good at his job.
Yeah. I really like it too. I like the fact that it'll be a different case every week. I think that each episode, I think that'll keep it fresh, like other stuff to focus on beyond, how close is she going to come to figuring it out? Like that, that's the thing you feel like they're going to drag out a little bit.
Just
understand
the second episode.
Yeah, so I was just going to say.
Like, it was so dramatic.
So dramatic. Like,
it outside, it was like almost like seizure inducing.
Yes.
So
yes. It is, before I got into K-dramas, I would see like these TikToks and stuff, like kind of making fun of them for how dramatic they are. And one of the tropes is like in a Western drama, if a woman calls her husband or boyfriend, whatever, and with an emergency, like she's in trouble, and like the guy is like, "Where are you?" And then calls 911 or whatever. But in the K-drama, the guy just drops what he's doing. He runs for miles to find her. And I was watching Business Proposal, and that is the exact thing that happened. And the scene went on forever. And I was like, nigga, call a cab, hop on the bus. He was running through the streets, and he found the exact place that she was. He just went to all these places that she goes to. And I'm like, what? And I was like, yeah, I understand where people say that K-drama is set up an unrealistic expectation for romance in Korea. Because these men just be running around. But one of the other things is how dramatic it is. Like these long, like drawn out stairs and the same shot. Yes. It'll be like the same shot of two people standing looking at each other, but they'll show it to you from like 6 different angles.
With the slow, dramatic music.
Yes, yes. All right, so let's talk about it. Let's talk about, and because I don't have notes and because it's like case driven, first let's talk about the couple, right? Like Kaylee and I'm still a bit confused, right? So the first case, it didn't have anything to do with him, but we get the introduction of the reporter who showed up at the hospital, I think, wanting information on the case, like the little boy. Right. And it's through him that we learn of an old serial killer case, Yonsu, I think, serial killer case, where they had a suspect, but he killed himself.
Yeah, he committed suicide.
Right. So he was never officially charged. And the way I understand it, correct me if I'm wrong, is her husband, Hee-Sung, is that man's son. Correct. The one who was, right. And he's been on the run or missing for X number of years.
The son or the dad?
The son. The father committed suicide.
But see, that doesn't make sense because wouldn't they know the mother? Like, the mother doesn't seem like she's hiding.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's not
his real parents.
That's not his real parents.
Oh.
That's what, right. So they're like, he is living under this assumed name. And maybe that's it. Maybe he just has them pretending, and I don't know how they know each other, but clearly they're pretending to be his parents in a way that protects them both. Remember? Because the father was like, are you sure? Like, we're not going to have problems with your wife. Remember, like this.
Yeah, he said something about like, we're all in the same boat.
Exactly. So, but in like his real identity, his father was suspected of being a serial killer and killed himself.
And I thought they mentioned that the son was also presumed dead.
Well, I know maybe that would make sense. Like, because it's not like there's like wanted posters and stuff like that. Yeah. But it seems like though, in the second episode, when the guy who called with the tip, and he had the reporter's phone and he was standing and over like watching him, he was like, well, you don't have to worry because he's dead. And he was like, really? It feels like if people thought he was dead, that guy would have known that. But it felt like it wasn't. Like maybe he's presumed dead, but not really.
Yeah,
I don't know.
When he was talking to the guy that he has in his basement, he was like, do you want to know how I've lived all these years even though I'm that large? Like how I've been able to...
Right, yeah.
So I guess...
Yeah. I think it's one of those like they don't know where he is. But he also is, we see in the second episode, he did kill someone. Or did the girl... No, he didn't.
No, he did.
Because there was something she said where I thought maybe he was protecting her at first. But then he was like, oh, this feels good. And I was like, oh, he did it. Yeah. So, yeah, they are the worst. They are the absolute worst, his parents. To the point where he tells the mother to call the wife and be very harsh. Like, just cut it off. Because if you don't, she's going to keep trying to impress you to get, So he makes her call and say, what? Just that I don't like you, right? Like, and I'm never going to like you. And you're not good enough.
The father didn't seem too bad, but he was just scared of the wife.
I don't know. I didn't get that impression. I got the impression he was just this cold that he doesn't
care as much.
Like he doesn't feel the need to be as antagonistic, I think, as the wife. He just will just ice them out. I'm curious, like, do they live together?
Were they not at their house, the parents' house?
Yeah, I thought they were.
Yeah, that was their house. Is that their house?
It was really big and fancy.
Yeah, it was. And she's a pharmacist.
Yeah, and the pharmacist she works at doesn't look that fancy. It looks like a corner.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, but I don't know if we know what the fake dad does. And so yeah, she does that, and I thought it was interesting that his wife G1, she was like, okay, but don't tell him. Like, she's trying to protect his feelings still through all this. Yes.
And I almost knew immediately the whole case in this episode.
Which one? The first or the second?
Was having an affair.
Okay, yeah. So let's talk about the case, and we'll go back to the personal
stuff.
stuff.
Did you even met the other woman?
I didn't know who he was having an affair with, but I knew he was having an affair.
How?
I was like, this doesn't, just the whole thing of the son, because I'd never believed that he pushed the son down the stairs.
Right. But why would the son
felt
say
like
that?
The son was blaming him because he had caught him cheating.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. So it's interesting that the case is that a little boy was found at the bottom of a stairwell in his apartment building, bleeding from the head. And when he woke up, he accused the father. And said that the father... Now, what's interesting to me is that he changed... Like, the father wasn't, like, fat-shaming him. Well, he kind of was. If you're making your son do that as exercise...
I wonder if it was,
that's still fat-shaming.
But I wonder...
But it wasn't as
mean.
mean.
They never specified it. I wonder if the son was, like, okay with doing it. Because he went on hikes with his dad and stuff, and he was like...
Yeah.
Like, I wonder if it was, like, something that they were both, like... that they both wanted to do, and he just kind of twisted it because he still wanted his dad to...
Yeah. Because, when the story he told was just like, you're fat and I hate you, and then he kicked him, right? Like, he kicked him down the stairs. And then when he told his version, it was like, you could do it, fighting, you're almost there. And I'm like, that's so different. Mm-hmm. But, and as it turns out, he fell on his own because he was afraid of the neighbor's dog, right?
Tiny little white dog.
Yes.
Such a cute dog.
Yeah. And, but so then, like, when I realized that it was like an affair, like it was just because he was saying that he met a friend, right? Mm-hmm. For drinks.
For drinks, yes.
Right. And then they looked at the CCTV footage of him leaving the garage, and it's like he didn't look like he was running away from just pushing his son. Like, he was just like tossing his keys in his hand. Happy. He looked happy, and I was like, okay. But then later, when the detective went and interviewed the woman and you didn't realize at first that that's who she was, that this was the friend he had met for drinks. Because the detective even was like, oh, he made it seem like you were a man.
I mean, that's when I knew, but
yeah.
I waited to say that until later.
Which is interesting, because I don't know, did he make it seem like he met?
He just said he met a friend for drinks. He never specified the gender of the friend.
But when they showed the hiking pictures, and I was just like, why are you hiking with this woman? But then later, when the wife was kind of defending the husband, she was like, talking about the husband and the son, that they go hiking together. Mm-hmm. I was like, this motherfucker was not bringing his mistress around his son. And yes, he was.
Yep.
Yeah. Now,
but they were close. I mean, it seemed like they had a long-term, like, working relationship. Is it what I got from it? You thought that they were what did he do? I don't even remember.
Were they coworkers? Yeah, I thought they were coworkers as well.
Okay. But then he gets her to give him these pills for the wife to take.
And they never told us what the pills were.
And she just said it'll make her tired or something?
No, I thought it was to make her... I don't know. I thought it was to make her better, but then... I don't know.
Because he mentioned after she gave him the pills, he was like, she's getting worse these days. She's just so lifeless. And like...
Motherfucker, because you're gaslighting her. Because when she found
the lipstick stain,
right? Like, she literally lied to herself for you, because you lied to her. So you could see her whole brain reconfiguring this new reality to make you right, to make you not the piece of shit that you are. She's probably dying inside every fucking day. You want her to be what? Happily signing the divorce papers? Yeah, I was like, and then the way they revealed it to us was her going to take it. Well, she thought they were vitamins or something.
Yeah.
And it was a roach. And Ji-won figured that out, the cop. She was like, you're the one who put the roach in your mom's pills. And the dad was like, what? But the best part of that episode with this case was when they realized that it wasn't, they knew the truth. And they let the father go. And then he goes to the hospital and the son is laying there. He opens his eyes the way the father was looking at him. Like, you lying piece of shit. Yeah, I'm here. Why you tell these people I pushed you down the stairs? I kicked you down the stairs. The look on his face, he was so disgusted with his son. And I get it. Because if I didn't do that and you were later talking about my mom kicked me down the stairs, I'd be like, what the fuck? Explain yourself, please. I almost went to prison. Oh my God. So they solve that case, right? Like he gets
it was a
he
little
gets arrested
boy,
for
with a dog that scared
yeah.
him. He fell down the stairs, but they still arrested the husband because he was illegally giving his wife drugs.
Poisoning his wife. But also the scene that's on right now, we didn't talk about this in the first episode. When the husband took his daughter to school and he brought all that food for the teachers, and the teacher was like because first of all, this is a thing people do. Like, you should, this is her teacher, so I get it. But, like, strangers do this. They talk to the kid as a way to shade the parents. They'd be like, your mommy's letting you, it's cold. Why don't you have a jacket on? That type of shit. She was like, your mom is so lucky because your dad is thoughtful and funny and handsome. And I'm like, sis. But he's just, like, got all the teachers charmed and shit. But then, let's talk about what he did in the second episode. With the little girl, when they got the phone call that the little girl, that she had hit her in the... All she did was hug the girl's doll because she thought it was pretty. And that woman said, don't
she was gonna
steal it and you don't touch other people's things. I was like, this bitch. But he made her apologize. And, I guess, like, his point, and that fits, like, his kind of psychotic mentality was... Like, we're just pretending. Like, this was like a power play. Like, now you look like the good kid. You look like the good family.
I feel like that was his excuse later on, but in the moment, I think he was just trying to deal with it as fast as possible.
Yeah,
like,
and he just didn't, he doesn't, yes, because he doesn't know how to.
Yeah, he doesn't know the morality of it.
Yes. And can I just tell you, Donnie, I would have shown my entire ass in that classroom. I would have cussed you out. I'd have cussed that woman out. I'd have cussed that little girl out. I'd have cussed the teacher out. The only one who wouldn't have got cussed out was Kaylee with her bloody nose. I would have lost. I was like, are you people out of your fucking minds? Why are we... Nobody was trying to steal that ugly ass white doll. Why you got her that old Victorian white ugly ass doll anyway?
I just love the whole thing with the father stealing the doll.
Yes,
they just showed us in the trash can. Yes. Like, that's so fucking good.
No, when he first walked in,
girl, don't worry, she's upset. She lost that doll.
They don't really think she stole it now. Framed your kid. Yeah, I told Kaylee, I was like, I wondered if he was gonna do something to the mom. So, one interesting thing is, in the credits for the first episode, we saw the word Dexter. Like, so it's a bunch of Korean and then just in English, Dexter.
It was something else with it.
Yeah, it was something before
Dexter
it.
Did something.
So, we were wondering if this is like a take on, because remember, Dexter was based on a book series. Remember, Donnie?
Yes, and I was going to say that, and I forgot to say that, but this show reminded me a lot of Dexter, especially the husband with no feelings and stuff like that.
Yes.
In this second episode, you see him watching videos on how to smile and stuff. Because
and parents who are complicit, who know, that their son, because...
The father, specifically.
Yes. If that's true.
Because
we don't even know.
Dexter, him and his father...
His father wasn't
a serial killer.
He was a cop, but he's the one who trained him to be like, if you have to do this, then do bad people. And this is how you cover it,
And this is how you act normal.
Right, exactly.
And they mentioned in like some point in the second episode how the son was in on it. It was an accomplice to his
Right.
father.
There was always rumored that that he had.
Are we moving on to talking about the second episode?
We can. It's like free.
Because we didn't talk at all.
Oh, well,
about
we
the
got.
reporter.
Oh, that's what I was gonna say. I mean, 'cause we would have to because that's like the
Yeah.
bulk of it. So with the reporter, see, this is maybe Kaylee has a better handle on it. I feel like when we were watching it, I kept pausing it to be like, what? What's going on?
It was kind of confusing how they played it out.
Yeah. So he is. He has been in hiding, living as this person. I think they showed us at the beginning of the second episode. What was it, 2006?
The scene when he's visiting his fake mom at the pharmacy, he's like, "I'm better at pretending than you are."
And I'm like, "Are you?" She just doesn't seem to put forth the effort, except when she was talking to that customer.
Yeah.
That's the only time she seemed normal. But then when she walked out, she was like, "I hate that woman. If I can't be like them, like normal and have feelings, I want them to be like me, dead inside." She says, "I just give her a bunch of antidepressants." I was like, Jesus. But okay, so the thing with the reporter has like a series in the paper where he talks about old crimes, right? And one of the crimes was the Yeonju serial killer case where the person put a dog leash rope like around the victim's neck,
took both their thumbnails,
and did something to their ankle,
ripped up the tendons,
Achilles tendons. But like what the public knew was that it was some sort of injury to the ankle. They didn't give like full details, which I said to you when they found the other one. I was like, but usually you keep some details hidden to be able to tell when it's copycats and stuff, right? And that's exactly what it was. It wasn't the right type of rope, because they said this guy always used
like
a specific brand, like dog hound or hound dog or something. And so that case happened. His father, his real father, was the prime suspect in that and killed himself before they could arrest him. And then the son disappeared, right? So when did he kill the village guy, the head of their village, with the girl?
Was in school.
Was this during?
I'm assuming like this was like before his father killed himself.
Okay.
Or when he was like under suspicion.
Okay.
Probably.
Okay. So he's been on the run, and when did he go live with that guy? The guy from the second episode that called with the tip. Remember, he was his roommate for a while. When was that? Because he knew his name.
They were roommates?
Yeah, remember he said he lived it. He was like, he said, and one night we watched a movie, and when the movie was over, he asked me to explain to him which parts were sad and which parts were funny and happy. Yeah, they lived together.
Let's see when he takes her phone.
Oh my God. So I'm trying to get like the timeline down. But okay, so the reporter, why did he go talk? Did he really just go to the shop to get a pen?
He was going to meet.
He was going to meet her husband.
Yeah.
Because they gave him the pen, and she said, "Oh,
Yeah,
the other cop said her husband is a metal crap." But then he said the serial killer, the suspect, so his father was a metal person too. So how the fuck didn't he figure? Because it took him too long to figure out that the dude Do-hyun did not work for. Yes.
Even after he was kidnapped and kept him in the basement, he still
a whole night. He was like, "Look, your boss is going to be back soon." He was like, "Dummy, I am the boss." Okay, so the reporter goes to the shop, and he's shocked because he turns around and he's like, "Oh, Do-hyun,
the guy
you've been missing for years, and motherfuckers think you
thought you
yes."
killed the head village guy.
Listen. Everything about this, like when he sat down and he offered him the tea, and I was like, don't drink that.
But he told him to leave and just say, "Hey, you forgot, you never saw me." Like he offered this guy to go, and he's like, "No, you're mistaken. You can like," but then the guy wouldn't stop.
He did turn around and say something that kind of sealed his fate.
Just don't tell anybody. Like it was kind of like, "Oh, hey, I went to school with you and all this stuff." He goes, "No." He goes, "Just don't." Like he was telling the guy to leave and don't tell. Just like forget you saw me, type of thing. But the guy would not stop.
I thought it was he kept like trying to leave, and then he's like, "But don't you want to know? Aren't you a reporter? You can ask me anything." Wasn't
I don't
that
remember.
a thing? And then he was like about to leave, and he stopped and turned around and sat down.
I don't remember. I mean, we can fast forward to it. I don't remember.
Yeah, it was in the first episode.
It was just really, I will just say it was just tense. It was a lot. And I remember when at one point it cut back and I was like, you're still there? Like, why haven't you left? Why are you talking to this man so much? But when he tells him, oh, what did he have him do? Like, come sit down and what? He wanted him sign something. I was like, you a dumbass if you take your ass over there. I would have ran so fast. He'd have had to kill me outside. Catch me outside, literally. You had to catch my ass. And he turned up the music. And he didn't react to none of that.
He locked the door, closed the blinds, turned up the music.
It got darker, louder. And he just sitting there.
Turn of the lock.
And he just in there signing. I'm like, you deserve everything that's about to happen. So it's interesting, though, because I remember thinking at the end, because I don't know yet. I'm still unsure how much we're supposed to think he's bad, if that makes sense. So when he didn't kill him, I was like, oh, okay, this is going to be one of those shows where it's kind of ambiguous, you know. So
I don't think he's a killer. His dad was a killer. His dad really was a serial killer. He's kind of, he's just like his father in that sense that he has no feelings and stuff like that. Right. But I don't think he's killing. Like he's just hiding from what his father's done.
Okay.
And that's why I feel like he wasn't killing this guy. That's not who he is. Kind of like that.
Okay, so then we're going to skip ahead. Do you think he killed the guy in the restaurant at the end of that? Do you think that was him? Because they didn't show the face, and Kaylee and I both were like, because they didn't show the face. Like, why wouldn't they show us the face?
Right. I don't think he's a serial killer. They're leading us on with that, I think.
So what he gonna do with the guy in the face? Yeah, I think he killed. But because that girl is there, I'm wondering if that man was trying to do something to that girl, and it was like he protected her. That's how it felt.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if they turned him into like that Dexter type of thing,
right?
Where I'm going to kill this person because they deserve it,
because they're bad.
I'm good with that.
Because you know, if he was, and especially he is, and he's trying to like cover his tracks. I understand not killing the reporter right away because you want to know what he knows. Like, who know you came here? Why? You know. Then he looked through his stuff. He was like, "Who are you meeting at 5 p.m. with this guy?" Because he recognized the name. And that he knew that was his old roommate. He's like, "Why were you meeting with him? Where were you going to meet him?" And all that. Right. And even when he met that guy, like he was like, "Oh, he's dead." Like when he realized that he didn't have anything, right? He was like, "So why? What were you going to say? That's it? That he was kind of weird and." Whatever. He was going to let him go. But he was like, wait. I got something else. I'm like, you want to die. And then he tells him about the phone calls that he's getting at 4 a.m. And the person's like, are you happy? So then he was like, well, why would that be Do-hyun? Why would he make those calls? He goes, okay, so let me tell you what happened was I needed some money. So he tried to kill him. For his wallet. Oh, but before that, wait, we'll get there. The reporter bullied him.
Yeah.
He's like, you don't remember? And then they did the flashback, and I was like, holy shit. So it does feel like, he's like, but we were kids. And I've grown up. I've changed since then. I have money. I'll give you money. I was like, that was some severe bullying. That they tied him to a tree and was like hitting him and stuff, right?
Yep. Beating the shit out of him.
But then the roommate tried to like steal his money so he could live a good life. He did stab him, that's right. And even then he knew that happened, right? Mm-hmm. But he wasn't going to kill the guy. He just wanted him to keep his mouth shut. Mm-hmm. But then later somebody shows up at the restaurant. Is it me or did he take way too long to get up and go get that knife, scissors, or whatever it was? I was like, dude, you got a head start. And he still got stabbed.
And so that's the same year his father, like, that's the same year that the father committed suicide.
What? The year? What?
when he got tied up to the tree and all that stuff beat up.
Oh, okay.
That was the scene because they brought that up. That I caught that in I think either this episode or whenever they were talking about the father. They said in 2002, the killing stopped and the father committed suicide. But that's the same year he got bullied like that.
What if he killed his father because his father was killing people? Like he found out his father was a serial killer. But then who is this? But then we were talking about, because it's like Dexter. Do you remember that season of Dexter where he figured out he had a serial killer brother?
Yeah.
The ice truck killer?
I thought about a brother in this.
The ice truck
Because who's calling this guy at 4 a.m. every day? If it's not him.
Yeah. Somebody's calling that guy, and if it's not him, somebody killed him. And then went back to his murder room.
Or we get all these papers on these.
Of all these cases and shit. After he went and bought the rope and stuff, and killed that guy and went back. All right, we got to talk about the old lady in the second episode.
Oh my god, this look.
Why are we laughing? It's not funny.
They showed us have this woman walk up this flight of stairs in high heels.
Yes,
I was like, I get it. I absolutely get it. When that woman said, I want you to do this every day.
Nah, son. You don't be killing people because you... Kaylee was like, she was... What did you say?
I don't remember.
Oh, so you're like, so she's just mad because she got to do her job? I was like, yeah, if that's the case, kill your boss. Don't kill this old lady. And I know that it's fucked up though, because they weren't victim blaming, but they did try to make it seem like that lady was a lot. Like once we saw the flashback, and I love this actress. Her name is Park Hae-jin, and she was Sung-woo's mom in Squid Game, and she is she's a grandmother in Pachinko, and she lived in Japan. And had like this nice, like this house and property, and they were trying to buy it from her for like millions of dollars, and she wouldn't give it up. She wouldn't sell. And there's this great scene where they're sitting around the table, and all her kids want her to sign the document because they want the money. And she remembers how the Japanese treated them and the circumstances under which she came to Japan, had to come to Japan, and how she was treated that whole time. And, she's like, there's some things like more important. And so she ends up like not signing it and telling them to go fuck themselves. And it's such a great scene. So I love this little old lady, but when we meet her, she's already dead. And I didn't like pay attention to her face. But then when we get the flashback, did you note that she wanted the girl to scratch her back? I was like, oh, she was like, nobody quite scratches my back like you do. She just wanted, like, she was lonely.
Her son was terrible.
Yes. But they threw us off, though, because, like you said, they showed us her finding the body. And then they showed the son coming in, being surprised. So they both looked innocent. Like, like, why would you show this random person finding the body? But,
it turns out she's also just a psychopath, and she really just put on an act by herself. She didn't have to do that for anyone.
She really didn't. She did not. And that's one thing I always say when we're watching shows like this, and like whenever they make it so that the bad person is someone you've known for a while and seen in other scenes, it's interesting to note how they act when no one's around. Because if you are the villain, you don't. So there are certain shows where, like, later, one of the people you think is the victim is the killer. And you'll remember a scene in which they were home alone and they heard something. And you're like, well, why were you tripping if it was you? Like that type of thing. So it's interesting. But for her, she did it just because she's a psychopath. Like, she went through the whole motions of pretending to be traumatized finding this body. The son was the worst. The absolute worst. But yeah, she went and killed this woman, changed her coat, like wore it inside out, and then dumped the... I thought it was a bit of a stretch that he figured out where she dumped the knife.
Oh, we also see Holy First Night.
What?
when they first met.
Yeah. See, this is where, Donnie, I was telling Kaylee, like, the photo on Netflix, the cover for this show, it's like her in the middle, and it's like two men on either side, and one has blonde hair. And I was like, when are we going to meet this new person? But I think it's him, yeah, with the blonde hair, I think. But yeah, so then when they go to confront her in the bathroom, or she confronts her, and she has that little blade in her purse, I was like, oh my God, she's going to try something with the cop. And then they cut to something else. And then when they come back, the cop has a cut on her cheek. I'm like, what? She was aiming for her eyes, she said.
Because she said she hates her eyes.
But when I tell you, they cut outside, and all you hear is that cop whooping her ass. And the other cop, he's like, it's okay. It's fine. Just don't go in there. She was beating that girl's ass. She's like, you can't do this. You're the police. Yeah, that was fucked up, though. That was I like shows like this, like little cases, like one and done. So, did we miss anything? I think we kind of talked about, like...
No, just that interesting that they did the copycat of the father murders in by the second episode. I thought that
she did that. Like, she tried to make it look like that because she had just read it in the paper or something. But it's interesting. Okay, another thing I don't get is why... I don't know if it was answered, because when they were trying to figure it out, right, she kept saying, why whatever the father's name was that killed himself, the suspect in that. She was like, why that case? Like, why him? Why did...
Yeah, she kept saying, why specifically him?
And they were like, what the fuck? We don't know. And even the younger guy was like, because the reporter just wrote about it. Mm-hmm. So I thought he was saying, well, because it was like the most recent thing, like she just remembered that and was like, oh, I'll make it look like that. But I don't know if that's where she was going. It feels like she was going somewhere else with that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she
like,
kept saying, like, what?
But
I don't never explained.
But she never,
she
right,
kept
okay.
asking, why him?
And I was just like, maybe I missed something. But yeah, it just felt like something that was unexplained.
I think the thumbnail thing might come back into play somehow.
What the
like because he was taking the father was taking the thumbnails off of his victims.
Oh, thumbnail! I thought you meant like picture thumbnail.
No. But he was taking the thumbnails off.
Yeah.
So I just feel like that's going to come back into play somehow.
Did you notice when he found the knife on the roof? Did you notice the thumbnail in there too?
I did not.
Yeah, it was a whole ass thumbnail, and I don't know why that shit just freaked me out. First of all, it was so big; it looked like a toenail. It looked like a big toenail, and I was like, "Why? Why?"
Well, your thumbnails are probably as big as your toenails.
Yeah, just about.
Your toenails are bigger.
Just like...
Are you comparing it?
Yes, I am. It is, and it's bigger. Slightly, but bigger. So are we in agreement that he did not kill the guy in the restaurant at the end of the second episode? It's not the husband.
I don't think it was.
What is his excuse going to be as to why his ass is coming home at 3:30 in the morning, covered in rain?
And then he also got sleeping pills from his mom.
Right. Mom. So because the wife woke up
at like 3:30.
3:30 in the morning with her clothes on top of the blankets. It's not like it's almost like she's like, why am I here? Like, right, exactly. So I think they're trying to make us think he drugged her to fall asleep,
right?
And at a time when she didn't normally sleep, so he can go do that. But that just feels too neat, right?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. Yeah. So I don't know, you guys.
I do think he drugged her, but I don't think he killed.
Where did he go?
I don't know.
Okay.
You could be reading at the moment.
Okay.
I'm just fast forwarding through the episode to see what we missed. If we missed anything.
Okay.
you were like, she got over it too quick after they went to their daughter's
school. Oh my God, Donnie, I just want you to understand how that would be a problem. That would just be a problem with us. Like when they went outside, she was still mad and she let him talk her down. I was like, no, sis. I was like, no, he needs to get cussed out. He needs to know, don't do that shit again. What the fuck you got our kid apologize? Then he took the daughter for the egg tart. She wasn't trying to hear it either. She was like, no, I don't like you right now. Because you like that little bitch more than you like me. She hit me in my nose, daddy. I'm bleeding. And you made me apologize. not only she apologized to the little girl, she apologized to the mama, she apologized to her teacher. That's how they do in Korea.
You can apologize to
You
everyone.
to your whole society for making them even be witness to your dumb foolery. And I was like, sis didn't deserve that. She didn't. She didn't have to do all of that. So yeah, buy her 2 fucking egg tarts. Repent. Yeah, I don't think I have anything else. I also feel like I'm getting sick. Like my nose is starting to run. I feel really warm. Ugh. It's just so cold outside.
Fucking freezing here.
So that's it. Anything else?
Nope.
What's going to be his excuse?
Fuck if I know.
Out tending to a garden. I don't know.
His mother needed him. I don't know.
And she ain't going to call and check because that woman can't stand her. I'm curious what the dad does, though. Because he might be in business, right? Considering... Because she did say, like, you're not going to get our money and shit like that. And I'm like, what?
Well, pharmacists also make pretty good money.
I thought so, too. Yeah. Like, what do you need some sort of, like, medical...
Yeah, it's a medical degree.
Mm-hmm.
The killer from this episode, she was saying that 3% of the population are like her.
And maybe there's someone like me around you. I was like, sis. Sis. And, you know, that is like a common thing, right? Like you notice even in the first episode, she was like talking about the wife. Like, how do you not know when somebody that close to you is like that? And I was like, girl, you don't even know you living in a glass house throwing stones. You need to hush. Even though I do feel like they're setting us up that he's not that bad.
Yep.
Yeah. Or maybe we're wrong. So what is he going to do with the guy in the basement, though? Because he was like, I got you for 3 days, he said, before anybody
realizes.
How you going to you can't let him go? Because he going to tell.
Yeah, you gotta kill him eventually. And even then, it'll still be someone that's already bullied him, so it's like...
No, that's not how it works. I feel like you got your revenge here, because that man absolutely shot himself in that basement. Like, he is scared. I think he's learned a lesson. But you still... I mean,
gotta go and tell.
I was going to say, if you don't want to get caught, you got to kill him.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you somehow get the guy on your side.
But what do you have to offer up? Because...
threat on his life.
Because he did confess to him that he killed the village guy. But again, I feel like it's going to be something like he was protecting that girl.
It's going to be like an interview with a vampire thing. He's just going to interview him.
Oh, I thought you were about to spoil Kaylee because she's still got 2 episodes left.
He's like, you can interview me about my dad.
Yeah, let me tell you my story. In this basement for 3 days. Oh my God, when his wife went down there to clean up the shop for him, and he rushed down there, and she was like, "Oh, you broke a mug?" And he goes, "Yeah, I had a drink with a guest." And she was like, "Oh, well, it must have been somebody you wanted to spend time with, because when it's not, you give them a cold drink. When it's a hot drink, you sit down and spend time." And and then they were leaving, and she's like, "Oh, I was supposed to wait." And I was like, she's kind of annoying. Like, I get it. Like, it builds the tension. Like, she's just being innocently doing her thing, and everything is supposed to make us feel like...
It's so funny, though, because she feels like a different character when she's at her job.
Yes, that's true. That is so
Like
true. She gets
people.
home, she's just still butt crazy in love with this man. And that cute little girl. She's so cute. All right, so that's it. We'll be back next time to talk about episodes 3 and 4. If you are time travel, that's already there. We have a lot of great stuff coming up. We were just talking about it before we began. We're really excited to go into December because there's some cool shows that we're going to be covering. We're going to be kicking off a brand new anime, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. Mm-hmm. I always want to say Full Hood Brother. Like, I just mess it up every time. I don't know why. Like Demon Hunter, Demon Slayer. But yes, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. We're going to be covering that. We're going to be covering Kindred. It is a drama series based off of the Octavia Butler novel. It's really great. Time travel back to slavery, but still time travel. I'm willing to give it a shot. Titans over on DC. DC, no, it's no longer DC Universe. Where'd that come from? HBO Max. It hasn't been DC Universe in a minute. But it's the 4th season of Titans. I'm trying to think. I feel like there's something else big. Oh, and just for our time travel, speaking of which, subscribers, we're going to be covering The Peripheral over on Amazon Prime Plus. Lots of good stuff. So remember, if you want to participate in the conversation with the shows that we're covering, you can send that to feedback@projectfandom.com, and you can always find the publication schedule on our website at projectfandom.com/schedule. Okay. Thank you for subscribing, and we'll talk to you next time.